36 inches of snow hit Michigan last night. That's not a forecast anymore. That's done. That already happened. And the same Arctic air that buried those communities is heading straight for your city right now. It's moving faster than the models said it would. We're looking at a 40 to 50 degree temperature flip across half this country in under 24 hours. And I have to be honest with you, for the middle of March, that is genuinely one for the record books. Here's what makes this pattern so wild. Phoenix is sitting at 100 degrees today, and Fargo. North Dakota is at 14 degrees Fahrenheit. That's an 86-degree gap between two American cities on the exact same Tuesday morning. Nobody escapes this one. You're either digging out from historic blizzard snow, bracing for a deep freeze tonight, or baking in 95-degree March heat out west. Every region of this country has a story today. Stick with me around the 5-minute mark. I'm going to walk you through exactly which roads are going to be invisible black ice traps for your Tuesday morning commute. And you really don't want to miss that part. And toward the end of this video, I'm going to show you something in the 10-day models that has me genuinely sitting up straight. A late March setup that could be a very big deal for anyone east of the Appalachians. But before anything else, go ahead and drop your city in the comments and tell me what it looks like outside right now, buried under snow, frozen solid, or sitting in record heat. Toss in your temperature if you've got it. I check every single comment. And honestly, your real-time reports from the ground help me paint a picture that the models just can't give me. All right, Tuesday, March 17th, and this thing is still very much in motion, so let's walk through it region by region, starting with the East Coast. The main storm system cleared the coast overnight. But don't let that fool you for a second. That cold front is still dragging through from Virginia up to New Jersey this morning, bringing 35 miles per hour gusts and rain squalls. Washington, D.C. is at 54 degrees Fahrenheit right now. Baltimore at 52 degrees Fahrenheit. Power crews are out all over both metro areas working to restore service to thousands of households that went dark during last night's line of storms. Now, the cold front sitting just west of those cities, that right there is the dividing line between two completely different Americas. And the side you're on determines everything about your next 48 hours. Speaking of last night, the National Weather Service is out doing damage surveys in North Carolina and Virginia this morning, and multiple EF1 and EF2 tornadoes from that line are already being confirmed. Wind gusts up to 75 miles per hour took down thousands of trees across the D.C. and Baltimore suburbs, and I don't care how many years you've lived in those areas. That is not a normal Monday night for either one of those cities. Raleigh clearing out at 54 degrees Fahrenheit. Charlotte at 55 degrees Fahrenheit. The tornado threat is gone. But the cleanup is a whole other deal. And black ice is the next thing those communities need to watch for once the sun goes down tonight. Richmond at 52 degrees Fahrenheit. Norfolk at 57 degrees Fahrenheit, both getting that gusty northwest wind now. And that wind is it's the leading edge of the Arctic air that's about to rewrite your forecast for the rest of the week. Let me tell you what's going on in the upper Midwest right now. Because Winter Storm Iona was no joke. This was a late-season snowstorm, the likes of which these communities haven't seen in a good long while. 36 inches of snow in parts of Michigan and Wisconsin. Go ahead and picture a 2-story house. The entire first floor is completely buried, and the folks living there are digging out the front door from the inside. Minneapolis is at 18 degrees Fahrenheit this morning with wind chills pushing down to 0 and below, and that, in the middle of March, is not just cold. That is straight up Arctic cold that has no business being here this late in the season. Detroit at 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Grand Rapids at 30 degrees Fahrenheit with 25 miles per hour, winds hammering visibility. Milwaukee at 27 degrees Fahrenheit, still digging out, and here's the kicker. The worst of the snow for some of these areas is not over yet. The same Arctic air that dropped all that snow is now going to supercharge lake effect off Erie in Ontario, and when that cold air slides over the warmer lake water, it picks up moisture like a shop vac and fires it downwind. Buffalo is already at 34 degrees Fahrenheit, seeing it start up. Syracuse at 36 degrees Fahrenheit is next in line, and some of these lake effect bands are going to dump 2 to 3 inches in an area the size of one county, while the town right next door stays dry. All right. Remember at the very start, I said I'd get you the road warning around the 5-minute mark. We are right there now. So listen up. Here's what your Tuesday morning commute is actually up against. Here's what happens overnight. The roads that got plowed and treated are going to refreeze hard under this incoming Arctic air. And that creates black ice completely invisible until you're already sliding. Chicago at 28 degrees Fahrenheit with an overnight low of 10 degrees Fahrenheit that is a textbook black ice setup from the Illinois Tollway all the way across Indiana, through Ohio and into western Pennsylvania. Cleveland at 36 degrees Fahrenheit, Columbus at 39 degrees Fahrenheit. I know those sound like above freezing numbers, but the pavement that iced up overnight is not going to warm up fast enough before the 7 a.m. rush hour hits. Picture this, you're on your regular overpass Tuesday morning. You've driven it 1,000 times. Roads look completely clear, and then the back end of your car just starts coming around, and there is nothing left to do. Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois. I'm asking you nicely, give yourself 20 extra minutes tomorrow morning. Slow down at every bridge and overpass, and lay off the bumper of the car in front of you. Hey, Midwest folks, I really want to hear from you on this one. What does it look like outside your door right now? Are we talking full-on whiteout? Or that gray, slushy mess that's somehow even worse to drive in? Drop your city and your temp in the comments. I mean it when I say your ground-level reports are worth more to me than half the automated weather stations out there. Now, here's the part of this forecast that still gets me. Every time I pull up the data, this same Arctic air is going to push deep into the south tonight. And I mean the deep south. Hard freeze warnings already posted for Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Alabama. And when you see a freeze warning for Louisiana in the third week of March, you know something genuinely out of the ordinary is happening. Atlanta is sitting at a comfortable 57 degrees Fahrenheit right now. Sounds fine, right? But the overnight low drops to 28 degrees Fahrenheit. And that is a killing frost for the Georgia peach orchards that are already in full bloom as we speak. Nashville down to 27 degrees Fahrenheit overnight. Memphis to 28 degrees Fahrenheit. Those are the kinds of lows that crack outdoor water pipes, destroy early season crops, and catch folks completely off guard in cities that don't normally think of themselves as winter weather territory. Little Rock dropping to 30 degrees Fahrenheit, Birmingham to 32 degrees Fahrenheit, even Jackson, Mississippi flirting with the freezing mark, and this freeze line pushes all the way down toward the Florida Panhandle by Wednesday morning. If you're in any of these southern states, tonight is the night to bring in the potted plants. Wrap up the outdoor spigots, and maybe check in on the older folks next door who might not be paying attention to the forecast. Southern folks, are you feeling any of this chill yet? Or does it still feel like a perfectly nice Tuesday afternoon out there? Because if it does, soak it in. Because that is gone by midnight. Drop your city and current temp below, and if you're in Atlanta and it's 57 and sunny, go ahead and brag a little, because tomorrow morning is a completely different story. Now here's something I want to make sure doesn't get lost in the bigger story. The backside of this system is pushing snow further south through the Appalachians than the original forecasts had penciled in. We're getting snow shower reports pushing into northern Georgia, northern Alabama, and eastern Tennessee, and the higher elevations of the Smokies and the Cumberland Plateau are setting up for some real accumulations today. Knoxville is at 50 degrees Fahrenheit right now, but that's temporary backside snow showers pushed through eastern Tennessee this afternoon, and up in Gatlinburg and the high country. This could add up to something significant before it's done. Western North Carolina, the Tri-Cities area of Tennessee, West Virginia, eastern Kentucky. You blink on a setup like this and suddenly you've got 4 to 6 inches on the ground from what looked like it was going to be nothing. Real quick, hang with me here. Because coming up in a few minutes, we're getting into what the 10-day models are showing. And it is something I genuinely did not expect to see both models agreeing on this clearly. So, why is all of this happening at the same time? Here's the short version. We've got a massive ridge of high pressure locked over the west and a deep trough carved into the east. And those two systems are basically arm wrestling over the country right now. The jet stream looks like a drunk driver at the moment, diving hard south over the Midwest, then whipping back north toward the coast, and that sharp bend is exactly what generated yesterday's tornadoes and blizzard conditions simultaneously. End result: Phoenix at 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Fargo at 14 degrees Fahrenheit. Same Tuesday, that's an 86-degree gap between two American cities. And that right there is why your Tuesday looks absolutely nothing like last Tuesday. All right. Let's swing completely to the other end of the map, because while the eastern half of the country is dealing with Arctic air and blizzard cleanup, the West Coast is having a completely different season altogether. Phoenix hit 100 degrees yesterday, not 85, not 9100 on March 16th, which is a record for that date and the kind of number that makes you do a double take when you first see it on the thermometer. Las Vegas at 95 degrees Fahrenheit, Los Angeles at 93 degrees Fahrenheit with the Santa Ana. Winds absolutely cranking that combination of record heat, bone-dry air. And those offshore winds is pushing fire danger into the extreme category across Southern California. Sacramento at 88 degrees Fahrenheit, Fresno at 90 degrees Fahrenheit, Tucson at 97 degrees Fahrenheit. These are not spring temperatures. These are full summer numbers. And the drought conditions sitting underneath this heat dome are making the fire situation worse by the hour. Even San Francisco is at 79 degrees Fahrenheit today, and if you're out west right now, I genuinely want to know, does it feel like March to you? Or does it feel like somebody just ripped 3 months off the calendar? West Coast folks, come on down to the comments, drop your city and your temperature, because I've got viewers in Minnesota buried under 3 feet of snow right now. And I want to see that contrast laid out in black and white. Let's walk through the Northeast, because there's more going on up there than just the cold moving in that storm left some real mess behind overnight that people are still dealing with this morning. New York City at 50 degrees Fahrenheit with heavy rain and gusty winds. The I-95 corridor from Philadelphia up to Boston picked up 2 to 3 inches of rain overnight, with localized street flooding reported in parts of lower Manhattan and South Boston. Boston at 46 degrees Fahrenheit with the rain switching over to some light snow flurries, nothing sticking in the city, but that wind chill is going to make it feel like the mid-30s all afternoon. So if you're heading out, you're going to want a real coat. Hartford at 45 degrees Fahrenheit. Providence at 46 degrees Fahrenheit. Albany at 41 degrees Fahrenheit with snow flurries early Burlington. Vermont at 37 degrees Fahrenheit. Manchester. New Hampshire at 43 degrees Fahrenheit. Both getting hammered by gusty northwest winds throughout the day. Portland, Maine at 41 degrees Fahrenheit with rain changing to light snow, and that right there is your reminder of just how fast this pattern flips severe thunderstorms one evening. Accumulating snow the next morning, all because of that cold air rushing in behind. Philadelphia at 52 degrees Fahrenheit with rain and 30 miles per hour gusts. The overnight freeze is the main concern here. Dropping to 32 degrees Fahrenheit tonight under clearing skies. And that is going to ice up any wet surfaces in a hurry once the temperature falls. Pittsburgh at 43 degrees Fahrenheit with a wintry mix rolling through this morning western Pennsylvania caught the snow side of this system. And there is still accumulating snow possible over the higher terrain through this afternoon. Now look, I don't want Hawaii to get lost in this shuffle, because while everybody's eyes are on the Midwest blizzard and the East Coast tornado damage, the Kona low system has been hammering the islands with some genuinely dangerous flooding rain. 130,000 people without power across the Hawaiian Islands, Honolulu, at 79 degrees Fahrenheit, but dealing with rainfall that is turning neighborhood streets into rivers, with active flash flood and landslide warnings still posted right now. Hilo is seeing the worst of it if you've got family or old friends on the islands. Now's a good time to shoot them a quick text and make sure they're okay, because this Kona low has not let up. I have to say, somewhere in the comments right now, there's somebody in Minnesota shoveling 3 feet of snow, somebody in Phoenix sweating at 100 degrees, and somebody in Hawaii watching their street turn into a river. Same country, same Tuesday. Tell me which one your city, temperature, and what's going on outside your window right now, because today the comments section of this video might genuinely be the most geographically wild weather map in the country. Alright, I made you a promise at the top of this video about the 10-day models, and here we are, time to pay that off, because what both models are showing right now genuinely has my attention. Both the European model and the GFS are starting to agree on something for late March, and when those two models independently point in the same direction. That's the kind of consistency you can't just wave off. The large-scale atmospheric signals are all trending toward what forecasters call a negative Arctic oscillation. Plain English, all that cold air bottled up over Canada keeps sending waves southward into the eastern U.S. through the end of March. The window I'm watching closest is March 24th through the 27th. Both models are hinting at a significant storm system developing in the Ohio Valley, and the setup looks more favorable with every single model run that comes in. The European model in particular is showing something around March 26th that has the look of a classic nor'easter track, that vertical climbing jet stream. That prime offshore positioning, and if that verifies, we're talking a major event for the East Coast. Now, I'll be straight with you 10 days out. Things change, and I would never ask you to clear your schedule based on a model run at this range, but the pattern is real. It's consistent, and it does not show up for no reason. What I can tell you for certain right now is that the roller coaster is nowhere near done. We warm up nicely through the end of this week. Then another cold front comes crashing through next Tuesday, and the whole cycle starts up again. That repeated warm, then cold, then warm pattern through the rest of March is exactly the kind of setup that breeds severe weather events along the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic. We are going to have our hands full tracking all of this. For this weekend, Friday through Sunday, a big ridge pushes east and temperatures across the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic jump back up 20 degrees above normal, which is going to feel downright wonderful after today. I'll tell you that much. Just bear in mind, that kind of rapid warm-up after a hard, cold snap loads the atmosphere with energy, and there's already something worth keeping an eye on for Saturday, with scattered showers and thunderstorms possible across the Ohio Valley. Before I let you go, let me run through the short list of what I'd actually do in the next 24 hours, depending on where you live, because some of this is genuinely time-sensitive. Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois tomorrow morning. Treat every single bridge and overpass like it's a sheet of ice, because in a lot of cases it's going to be exactly that. Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee. The Carolinas tonight is the night. Bring in the plants, wrap the outdoor faucets, and check in on the elderly neighbors nearby who may not be watching the weather. California, Arizona. Nevada red flag fire conditions are going to be widespread this week. The drought is already bad, and anything that could start a spark in that kind of heat and dryness needs to be taken seriously. And for the I-95 corridor from D.C. up to Boston, those wind gusts today are strong enough to bring down weakened trees and branches. So take a look at anything hanging over your car, your roof, or your power line before you head inside tonight. Last call on the comments, and I really do mean it this time. What city are you in? What is the temperature outside your window right now? And what does the sky look like? Whether you're shoveling out in Buffalo, watching those freeze warnings roll across Atlanta, sweating through 95 degrees in Las Vegas, or dealing with flash flood warnings out in Hawaii, every single one of those stories belongs down below. And if there's a specific city or region you want me to dig into more in the next update, just put it in the comments and I will work it in. This is a two-way conversation, and I take that seriously. We're going to keep tracking all of this every single day: the blizzard cleanup, the deep south freeze, and especially that late March storm development, which is coming into focus faster than I expected. In fact, the European model just dropped a new run. And if what it's showing for the March 26th window is anywhere close to right, there is one specific corridor from D.C. up through Philadelphia and into New York that needs to be paying very close attention. I'm going to break that down in detail in the next video: the track, the timing, the snowfall potential, and honestly, if this pattern holds, it could end up being the biggest weather story of the month for the East Coast. hit subscribe and turn on the bell notification. Because when that next model run comes in and this thing starts locking in, I need you to see that video right away. Not 2 days later when it's already too late to prepare. Stay safe out there, look out for each other, and I will see you in the next one. There is a whole lot more weather coming, and we are going to get through all of it together.